So, I came across this atheist channel called The Atheist Experience, and I noticed that they had a video called Is God a Narcissist? And the way they had it set up is that you call in and speak to the panel and discuss the topic. So, I wanted to respond and react to the things that they were saying. And of course, since they're atheists, they're automatically going to think that God is a narcissist. So that didn't surprise me at all. And I actually believe a lot of atheists are narcissists. I'm not going to say all because I don't think that's fair. But I think a good bit of them are, because the core of what they believe is in themselves. And a lot of them have that same haughty attitude. They're very mocking. They're very demeaning. They want to make you feel stupid. That's their angle, to make you feel stupid. And it makes you retract it, and because you don't want to feel stupid, you kind of stop responding because you don't want to look dumb. But that's their angle when they talk to people, that helps intimidate them. But really, their thought process is way off, and I'm going to show you that they're really hypocritical too, which is a narcissist trait. But and I'm adding Betsy Wecker. She's the person that I responded to in my first video, Is God a Narcissist? And I forgot to respond and react to something that she said in her video about Is God a Narcissist. I actually forgot to insert my response to that video, so I'm gonna tag it into this video, so when you see her pop out of nowhere at the very end, you'll understand why I have her placed there. All right, well, thank you guys for watching.
I think Dwayne here in West Virginia, if I can hit the talk button so it'll actually take it. There we go. Hello, Dwayne. So you don't think God's a narcissist?
How you guys doing this evening? Really good show. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So you don't think God is a narcissist? So can you let's set terms up here real quick. What is a narcissist for you?
Well, so say I had a group of friends, and one of the friends that we were out going and doing something together, and every time a friend said, yeah, I got this new guitar, I'm really happy, I learned this new tune, the friend would say, oh, I have this other guitar, whether it was true or not, and I played that song years ago. I know this song better. And every friend that did different topics or knew different things, that one friend seemed to have something better than them and was better at it than they would, and really describe it and make themselves look good. Like just full of themselves, a narcissist. And
well, that could be a narcissist, but it could also be somebody who's just very self-conscious and unsure of themselves, right? Trying to make themselves seem better than they are to bolster their own ego, right? I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be narcissism, does it?
Well, true.
Okay.
Well, that's true.
So,
it depends on the situation and perspective. I agree.
Can I read you? Let me read this definition from Mayo Clinic real quick. So this is from the mayoclinic.org. So they're probably fairly authoritative on this. Signs and symptoms of narcissistic personality disorder can have an exaggerated sense of self-importance, have a sense of entitlement, and require constant excessive admiration.
So even though he's reading off the traits of a narcissist, we all know where he's going with that. And he's applying these examples of narcissism and wanting to place it on God. But everything is really subjective to that person, because everyone's going to have a different opinion and idea of what's excessive, what's not excessive, what is deserved, what's not deserved. But we have got to look at God. God is the creator of this universe, this world. He's the one putting the trees, the land, the valleys, the mountains, the sun, the stars, the moon. No other human can do that, or has done that, or will ever be able to do that. So do you not think that that's important? And God is important to this world. He's the one that is making everything go together. He's the one making all the rain fall so that everything will grow. The sun is out so that all the vegetation will grow. He's the one that's making everything move and work together so we can live and be here on this earth and survive. So Is that important? Yes. So God deserves that self-importance, and we need to think that about him too. And as far as admiration is a form of respect. We should respect that he does that. No other human can do the things that God does. So he is way above us humans. So even comparing us to God, it's not even a fair comparison. That's like apples and oranges. They're two different things. And he's not even on the same playing field as us humans. And he's the creator, he's the boss, he makes the rules, and you guys are just complaining about it. Yes, he does deserve entitlement. I know the atheists don't believe in God, so they say, but deep down they do, or they wouldn't be so passionate and get so mad about it and make 6,000 videos about God and make a whole channel dedicated to debunking God if they didn't really deep down believe it. Entitlement means that you believe that you are owed something. Now, let me give you an example of that. Let's just say that you're a single parent and you have been saving for years from working at your job, putting money away each paycheck so that when your child is ready to go to college, they have the funds and the means to do that. And you also set aside money to buy them a car so they can get around the campus and wherever else, the libraries, wherever. So you wanted to set them up so that they could be prepared and have a good start. Now, do we as parents owe our children that? Absolutely not. There is nothing that says that we have got to pay for their college or pay for a car, but we do it because we want to help them out. Now, let's just say that the child that you did that for could care less that you did it. They showed you that they're ungrateful. They don't want to thank you. They think that they deserved it, and they could care less that you spent all those years as a single parent working all that overtime so that they could go to college. And they never want to acknowledge you for that. But they'll take it though. They'll take the car, they'll take the funds for the college as well, but they don't want to give you any type of recognition or acknowledgement. So wouldn't you feel some kind of way after years and years of doing that for your child and they could care less that you've done it? So would that now mean that you have a self-entitlement issue now because you want to thank you from your child? Or do you just want them to be grateful that you did that for them? It's the same thing with God. God has done so much with this world. Oh my gosh, who else do you know that can do the things that he has done with the sun, the stars, the moon, and the rain, and making all the birds and humans? I mean, who else can do that? But we can't say thank you for providing each day and all the abilities to live and continue on living and comfortably at that. So where is the entitlement issue? Entitlement, self-entitlement, when it applies to a narcissist, is when you don't deserve to be having that entitlement. It's a false entitlement. So let's make sure that trait of entitlement is cleared up when we're speaking about God.
Expect to be recognized as superior even without achievements that warrant it. Exaggerate achievements and talents. Be preoccupied with fantasies about success, power, brilliance, beauty, or the perfect mate. Believe they are superior and can only associate with equally special people.
The other narcissist trait that he said that narcissists will have this superior trait about themselves and will only associate themselves with other superior people that they believe that are like on their level. I really don't know where to go with that one either, because God is way above us and we're definitely not on his level, and none of us can compete and do the things that he can do. You atheists can't do it. I can't do it. None of us can can match God's superiority. So that's not even something I think is even comparable. So once again, that trait doesn't apply to God either. And you can't even give a good example regarding that. And I know y'all can't, because you can't match that with anything. So let's just move on.
Monopolize conversations and belittle or look down on people they perceive as inferior, expect special favors and unquestioning compliance with their expectations, take advantage of others to get what they want, have an inability or unwillingness to recognize the needs and feelings of others.
I want to highlight that one later, by the way, Jim.
Yeah, there's a couple of them we want to highlight. Be envious of others and believe others envy them. Behave in an arrogant or haughty manner, coming across as conceited, boastful, and pretentious. Insist on having the best of everything, for instance, the best car or office. So how many of those do you think the Christian God fits?
Oh, I think the Jewish and Christian God did some of those things quite a bit. However, I think that giving this Old Testament, New Testament, Judeo-Christian, Western God the title of a narcissist would be a compliment.
God is a holy God. There is no sin in God. He's pure and holy. Now, as far as us humans, we are sinful. We've all lied. We've all cheated. We've all manipulated. We all have been selfish. We all have been greedy. We all have a sense of entitlement that we don't deserve. I can go on and on. So is God above us? Absolutely, he is above us, because we have a sinful nature. So yes, so in terms of him thinking he's above us, of course, he's our creator. Just like when you have a child, you have authority over that child. When the child grows, you're telling that child what to do. You're being one being controlling. You're the one telling them what they should do. You're the one telling your child they need to respect you. You're the one always telling your child and threatening them with fear that if they don't do something, they're going to get in trouble or get a whooping. So you guys do the same things that you accuse God of doing. And you also expect your child to be thankful to you and respectful to you. Y'all do the same things that y'all be crying about God wanting us to do to him. And who is God trying to get to do little special favors for him? God doesn't need anybody to do little favors for him. So if that's another trait that you're trying to place on God, you're gonna have to give an example about that. Who is God taking advantage of? I need another example about that, because God's not taking advantage of anyone. God gives us our free will. And when people are ruined or having a lot of things happen to them, it's because they are doing it. Something that they are doing within themselves that are destroying themselves or other people. And that's another thing. God does not get in our way of our free will. I'm not saying he never intervenes, but most times he's going to let you do what you want to do. And then when things happen, then you guys want to accuse him of being the bad guy because he's not intervening. So you can't have it both ways. And as far as God being jealous, who is he jealous or envious of? Of us? Are y'all serious? There is nothing to be envious of humans. I'm telling you, we are some rotten folks. And only the blood of Christ has cleansed us, because I'm telling you, we are terrible. Also, God has the best of everything. He needs nothing from us humans. So once again, where are these narcissist traits that you're reading off apply to God?
No, this God was mentally ill, psychosis, a psychotic, because one thing you didn't read in that definition was genocide and murder and slavery, which you guys had talked about with other people. And this God went way beyond those things in that definition. I'm agreeing that the God did narcissistic things, but I don't think he was a narcissist. I think he was mentally ill psychopath, killing everyone on the planet except Noah's family just to prove a point.
Many atheists will bring up the argument that God killed thousands of people over 2,000 years ago, and even allowing his own son to be killed in a brutal way. They will also bring up that they felt like God allowed slavery. One of the biggest traits of a narcissist is hypocrisy. Since the Roe versus Wade decision in 1973 occurred, over 63 million abortions have taken place. According to the atheist statistics, it was found that 87% of atheists were in favor of abortion. Abortions are performed with a suctioning instrument that reaches the uterus to vacuum out the baby. If that method is not possible, then that abortionist will take the medical tongs and tear the legs off of that baby and squeeze his head until the baby is no longer alive. After that process, they will put the baby back together as a puzzle piece to ensure they had gotten all the pieces of the baby from the uterus.
Like that question of is he a narcissist is more of a compliment because he was way more than that. He was beyond, I mean, if you agree with everything in the Bible, he was beyond Hitler. I mean, he would be up to, for trial, crimes against humanity if he was in a court of law. So I think that that's one element that he was a narcissist.
So I want to talk about the founder, Matt Dillahunty, and I hope I'm pronouncing his last name correctly, and if I'm not, I do apologize. But the reason why I'm bringing him up is because he is the founder of the Atheist Experience, and he had made some comments regarding abortion. Now, the reason why I'm bringing up the abortion issue is to show that they have inconsistency on the things that they say, and they are also hypocrites. And they accuse God of being a genocide killer thousands and thousands of years ago of people. And they say that he was really cruel and mean for having his son, Jesus Christ, die a horrible death. Now, I want to add a side note to that Jesus Christ signed up for that. He agreed to that. It's nothing that was forced on him. He knew what his mission was, and he completed it for his Father. And so it's not anything that was, like I said, placed on him. He willfully did that. So you guys can stop talking about how God did that to Jesus Christ, because that was the only way to redeem us. So it had to be done that way. So I understand that you guys don't understand that, but again, you guys are all about people being able to make their own choices. So Jesus Christ made his choice. So you can't really keep using that argument, because that's another thing that you say that contradicts everything else that you guys believe in. Okay? Another thing I want to bring up is that Matt believes that women have the choice of removing a baby from their stomach, and he pretty much makes it seem like it's a parasite, that a woman has a right to remove it, and that fetus is an invader and doesn't have the rights to be there in her stomach if she chooses for it not to be there. So it's just the thinking of these people just wow me, because first of all, she put herself in that position, and I don't believe she was not smart enough to realize that a baby would happen when you do certain acts. So she placed herself in that position to have that baby. You guys are all about biology and science. Don't y'all understand that? So, but the way that Matt talks about that baby, talks about it, like I said, like it's a parasite. And it just wows me. And it's amazing how they will talk about all the deaths that God did, but they're okay with the babies being killed. And Matt will tell you that that Matt will admit that it's a baby. I'll give him enough credit that he will say that it is a baby, but he says that that baby has no more right to be inside of its mother than if it wasn't inside of her. Like, he thinks that they can, that kids can be leeches. He always uses this thing, does a 2-year-old have a right to be on its mom's body? You know, he always uses that same regurgitated thing that I know that he's heard from somewhere else, and he just takes it into his memory and spews it out to y'all. Because I did some research, and I know that he's been listening to little comebacks, and so he didn't generate that as an original thought, I assure you. So anyway, so I wanted to play some clips of what I'm talking about, and show the hypocrisy that it's okay to, you know, take the babies limb from limb and squeeze their heads. But they say that God was being mean when he drowned babies and people back in the day, thousands and thousands of years ago. So it's very hypocritical. And I just want to bring that to light, that the atheists, they're not consistent. And I really want to start talking about them because they're never mind. Let's just roll the clip.
And you're fine with allowing someone to use someone else's body without their consent?
No. Like, I think the greater priority is preventing innocent human beings from being killed.
I don't care about innocence or not. I don't know why that's relevant.
I don't care about innocence or not. I don't know why that's relevant. Okay, so you're willing to grant special rights to fetuses in utero?
Well, so something can be bad, but there can be an even greater badness. That's the alternative. That's what I think is the case here.
Okay, so you're willing to grant special rights to fetuses in utero. A 2-year-old does not have the right to use its parents' body without their consent, and they should not.
Fair enough, but also things are being done to that baby's body without its consent. You know,
yes, I'm aware of that. I'm aware of that, but those are necessary things that we do as a steward of that baby.
Narcissists use people and throw them away and tend to not care if they live or die.
I don't care about innocence or not. I don't know why that's relevant. Okay, so you're willing to grant special rights to fetuses in utero?
Narcissists use people and throw them away and tend to not care if they live or die.
I don't care about innocence or not. I don't know why that's relevant. It's a parasite and it needs to be removed. It's a parasite and it needs to be removed.
So the reason why I'm tying this abortion subject matter into narcissism and God is to show you that a lot of atheists themselves are hypocritical narcissists. I'm not calling all unbelievers narcissists because I don't think that would be fair. But I do believe that a good bit of atheists are narcissists. And they're very hypocritical, and I just want to show that hypocrisy. And if you remember, Matt was talking about, hey, that's what happens. Like, yeah, we're killing the babies, and yes, they're innocent, but that's how it goes. That's what happens when we're the steward over something. That's just the luck. You know, sorry for your luck. That's just what happens. But the same thing could be said for God, is that, hey, he had to make some decisions and take some people out that he felt was going to either in the future be harmful, or they were disobeying him now, and he didn't want that mentality, that rebelliousness, or whatever corruption to spread. And so, but it's okay for Matt and his team to take out the babies and think, hey, that's just, you know, yeah, they're innocent, but hey, that's just the way it is. yet they get mad about what God did thousands of years ago when he felt like he had to do what he had to do. You see how narcissistic that is? And those atheists are quick to call God a narcissist. And let me tell you something, those atheists are not really atheists. They believe in God. I'm sorry, but they do. I also want to tell you a story about a client that I had a long time ago. And it was a female, and she was an atheist, and I'm a massage therapist. So she was coming to see me every single month, like clockwork. I never missed an appointment, saw her all the time. So anyway, I knew she was an atheist because we talked about religion. So one day, as I'm like massaging her, she's telling me that she went to a tarot card reader, and she said that the tarot card reader said, "Hi, oh my goodness, I see your parents standing behind you," because both her parents had passed away. And so she was telling me that this is what the tarot card reader was telling her, that she could see her parents. And as I was massaging her, I was like, well, I thought that the atheists believe that once you die, you no longer exist. And after that appointment, after I saw her, I never saw her again. She started going to my coworker, who was also a therapist, because there was a group of us that worked at this spa. So she stopped seeing me instantly and started seeing her. And you know why? It's because I challenged what she believed, because she wasn't fully an atheist, even though she claimed to be. But she was so mad that I reminded her that her belief of atheism is that you cease to exist when you die. But her feelings got hurt when I reminded her about that, when the tarot card reader said that she could see her dead parents standing behind her. And so I just want to tie all that in. I know I did kind of get off topic a little bit, but I just want to, like I said, tie it in and show that the hypocrisy and the narcissism and narcissists calling other people narcissists, it's a real thing. And it is just so crazy. And I also want to say, if Matt had a girlfriend or a wife that was pregnant and she wanted to have an abortion, didn't want to have that child, then based on his own beliefs, he would tell his wife or girlfriend, well, that's your choice, that's your body. If you want to, abort our child, unborn child, then that's your choice. But when God did that, when God decided to kill his only begotten son, oh my gosh, the atheist community just lost it. But it's okay for them to kill their kids in the womb and not even give them a chance to survive. But they get mad at God, who Jesus agreed to that mission, but they want to be like, oh, you're so mean. It's just hypocrisy. And I also wanted to add something else. And as far as the atheists saying about the rights of the babies, see, they're trying to make it seem like the fetus, the baby, is a grown up. Like, well, they don't have any rights to be in there. The reason why we have to speak up to for the unborn babies and for the animals is because they don't have a voice. But the way that the atheist talks about the babies that are in there, they're making it seem like they're full-blown adults and that they can have understanding and that they have a voice, and they don't. That's why we have to speak up for them, and we have to speak up for the animals that are being abused, because they don't have a voice either, and they just want an excuse to be wicked.
I had grown up being told to love and being told that this God loves me. I just didn't see it. I look at all this stuff and I'm like, I don't see where the love is. I see where the fear is. I see where I'm supposed to be respectful of him, or else, right? Or else something bad will happen, which is the same can be said of narcissistic relationships you have with people. You're always sort of walking on eggshells. You're never quite sure of where you stand with them. And it's all about them. Like, they insert themselves into every scenario, every situation, and have to kind of have all the attention and all the love and all the whatever. To me, it's like, well, I don't want to serve a God like that. I don't want to attach myself to a God like that. That understanding and rationalization of the whole God thing really helped me feel more confident in walking away from it. All of these things contradicted the notion of a loving and benevolent Savior. This guy's not coming to save me if I still have to beg.
So if I'm understanding Betsy correctly, she feels like God is always inserting himself in every situation, and she interprets that as narcissism. And where I think she gets that from is because God does put a lot of advisement on things that we do and things that we shouldn't do. And we have to have him in mind when we consider our decisions. And I think that if we take our pride away, take our rebelliousness, and really listen to what God is saying, it would all make sense. But because we get in our own way, we lack that understanding. And of course, we don't really read the Bible and really truly want to understand it from the heart and from God's perspective. And let me give you an example of that. A lot of people can't stand that there is something in the Bible that is written that you are to be married to one wife, that you are to keep yourself pure until you get married, and you're not to be committing adultery or having lust. And that means looking at things that you shouldn't be looking at on the internet and in other places. But let's just for a second, let's take God's advisement on that. And let's just say that we all waited until we got married. We didn't have any sexual relations until we had our spouse. And we never cheated on our spouse because God says that we are to be faithful to that person that we're married with. Just imagine if we all followed that. There wouldn't be any broken homes. Every wife would have a husband unless something happened where he died prematurely for something, but it wouldn't be because of adultery or anything of a betrayal nature. But all the kids would have mom and dad. You wouldn't have fathers scattered everywhere and moms scattered everywhere. And that would be a healthy unit. And let me tell you something, STDs wouldn't even exist. Y'all wouldn't even know what chlamydia was. Y'all would probably think it was some sort of continent somewhere, and you wouldn't really know what that was because STDs wouldn't even exist, because nobody would be going outside of marriage. Nobody would be sleeping with each other before marriage. And so STDs wouldn't have a chance to get to people. You know what I'm saying? So if we take ourselves out of that, it totally makes sense why God would want us to stay pure and not to defile ourselves. And so I think that that's kind of what she's getting at, but she interprets that as him inserting himself in everything. But if you also listen to her video, she's upset because he doesn't do the things that she wants him to do. So she's upset because he inserts himself all the places, but then upset when she feels like he's not inserting himself in every scenario. So, and in terms of begging to be saved, like she emphasized at the end of that comment, he doesn't say you have to beg. You can go do what you want. Go do what you want. If you want to go and live a life of rebellion, God lets you do all that stuff. Don't get me wrong, I think God does intervene on certain things, but overall, he's not going to interfere with your free will. So have at it. Do what you're going to do, because obviously everyone has been doing what they want to do because this world wouldn't be as wicked and evil. And that's because everyone ignores God and his word. So, but as far as begging, us having to beg, go do what you want to do. You don't have to beg. But I tell you what, I don't think anybody would want someone to come into their house and disrespect them. I'm sure if I went to your house and I disrespected you and I didn't take off my shoes like you asked me to, and I, messed with your stuff and I was all up in your house disrespecting you, and I'm sure you wouldn't appreciate that. And I think God feels the same way. Why would he let any of us in his house if we're going to disrespect him? And you talked about earlier about God wants us to respect him. Of course. We should respect other people, we should respect God, and we should respect ourselves. So I'm really hoping and praying for you, and I am going to keep you in my prayers. And I know that sometimes hearing things like this can be hard, but the truth is better than the lie.